Life, Death, and a Tale of Two Sons. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and today we're going to do a game discussion. And we're going to talk about Brothers, a Tale of Two Sons, brought to us by Starbreeze Studios. An indie game that is currently one of the PS Plus free games for this month. And it's also on Xbox Live and Steam. And this game has been mentioned in the same breath as Journey and To the Moon and games of that caliber, and rightfully so. When I first started off, I remember Steven, I think, picked it as his game of the year for 2013. And starting off playing the game, I really was like, I don't see it. I don't know what he's talking about. But as the game moves on and the story really starts to open up, you really see what what they did with this game, and it's amazing to me how these independent studios are just completely outclassing the big boys. We get games like BioShock Infinite and Last of Us that have a very impactful storyline. But for the most part, when you want a really unique and engaging experience, it's crazy how these days it really is the indie titles that really kind of latch onto you and grab a hold of you. So yeah, this game is currently free on PlayStation Plus. So if you have that service, download this game and play this game. The storyline, I'm not going to get too involved with the storyline because it's really something you have to experience on your own. But it involves two brothers setting out on a journey to find sort of a mythical tree of life elixir to sort of heal their sick father. And where it goes from there is really one of those experiences that it's like To the Moon. It's like Journey. It just somehow it seeps into you. And there was times in this game where I was playing and I had a big smile on my face because it was just so magical. There was times where my palms were sweating because I was so worried about what was going on the screen. It was so perilous what was going on the screen. There was times in the game where it just got like really macabre, and I was kind of like, this isn't what I thought this game was going to be. And then there is times where the game will just break your fucking heart, and it's really just one of those experiences that you guys have to go out and you guys have to play this game. Even if it's if you miss out on if you don't have PlayStation Plus, if you just have Steam or Xbox Live, it really is worth your time to download this game and play it. It's worth paying for. Give those guys some money because they made an awesome experience, and it's not one that you're going to soon forget. It's very reminiscent of Ico in a lot of ways. It really reminded me a lot of Ico, and if you like that game, this might be something for you to try out. I really liked that it told its story without uttering one piece of discernible dialogue. They talk in their own language in this game, and that can be a double-edged sword in a lot of ways. In some ways, it can really hurt the storyline, but in this, I mean, you knew exactly what was going on at every point in the storyline. When the characters were talking to each other, you knew exactly what they're saying just by the inflections in their voice. And in a lot of ways, it makes the story more personable because you fill in the blanks. You are the one creating the storyline. And it kind of goes back to playing old Super Nintendo and NES games where there wasn't a big story. Like the game I think of a lot is Super Metroid. It kind of has bookends of storyline, and then the entire time you're playing the game, you kind of make up your own story for Samus as you go along. Or at least I did. That's how I kind of did it. And it makes the experience a lot more personal and enjoyable in a lot of ways. The big thing about this game, and the major hurdle you have to get over, is the gameplay in and of itself. Now, I'm not saying that because the gameplay is bad. The gameplay is phenomenal. It's one of the most unique experiences you'll have. But that uniqueness is also a kind of a learning curve, because you're controlling both brothers on screen at the same time with both sticks. After a while, about halfway through the game, it'll just start to click in your head, and you're able to do it a lot easier than you would think. But in those early stages in the game, you're going to be moving one brother, and then you're going to be moving the other brother, and and you solve these simultaneous puzzles. And this kind of stuff's been done in games before, usually as escort missions and the ilk. But for some reason, it's just a completely different experience in this game. You'll boost one of the brothers up to a higher ledge, and then the little brother has to go find a rope to pass down to the big brother so he can climb up on this ledge. And it's been done before, but for some reason with this game, it's such an experience. The thing that really got me is there's a segment where the two brothers tie themselves together with a length of rope, and then they have to climb this cliffside, and then they'll climb up to these 2 points, and then the one brother has to use the other as a fulcrum to swing, and you just kind of swing like that. And I'm scared of heights in games, or just in general. But in games, it also kind of unnerves me. That's kind of where my fear of heights is. And the entire time I was playing this, I had to pause and wipe my palms off because I was sweating, because I was just so nervous about what was going on screen. Very few games have that kind of visceral impact on me, but this is one of those ones that really does. And there are times you're thrown into certain segments, like there's a chase segment where you have to run with both brothers. You will get hung up on that. When you do the jumps, because you use the R2 and the L2 buttons to perform your actions. So if your brothers are hanging on a ledge and they need to jump up, you'll hold down the R2 buttons, or the shoulder buttons, so they'll grab a hold of the ledge, and then you press up so they'll reach up for the next one, release the buttons to jump, and then quickly push the buttons back down to grab onto the next ledge. The timing is a little weird on this. If you press the buttons when you think you should, you're going to fall. And sometimes you'll fall to your death. And there's a couple segments where you're just it really gets kind of annoying. Basically what you have to do is, as soon as you release the buttons, you need to instantly press them back down, because the analog buttons for the bumpers on the PS3 controller, which is what I used, are kind of squishy. So you think you're pressing it in, but you don't quite have it all the way in. So if you wait until it looks like the characters are at those ledges to grab a hold of, and in normal video games, using those buttons to grab a hold of, you're going to fall. So just instantly do it and you'll be fine. It's a timing thing. You'll learn it in the game, much like the control sticks. But other than that, the game is really brilliant in how it presents this. And they can't really I don't think they can ever really do a sequel to this. It's kind of one of those it's its very own story. But if they do a spiritual successor, or just a follow-up game where it's kind of the same gameplay but a different story, that would be awesome. That would be really cool. But kind of refine it a little bit better. But for a first effort, out and out, this was a fantastic gameplay experience. The music is kind of few and far between. A lot of the times, or maybe just my digital copy was kind of messing up, but there wasn't a lot of music in the game. And there is a lot of ambient sound, and that is really awesome. Especially there's this segment where you're going through the woods at night, and there's these wolves around that you have to keep at bay with a stick of fire. And it's just the ambiance of the areas. Really, really, really cool. And the voice acting, for not having discernible dialogue, the voice acting is very, very awesome. Very emotional. I mean, it'll draw you in, even though they're not saying anything that you can understand. I don't know if it's its own made up language. I don't think, because I can't remember where Starbreeze is from. I don't know if it's Sweden or if it's, somewhere in that region of, I'm not sure where exactly they're from. I don't know if that's the actual language. I do know, just kind of hearing, I can kind of pick up like Icelandic just because I listen to Sigur Rós and stuff like that. But I couldn't really tell if it was actually a language or if it was just a made-up language for the game. I think it was just a made-up language for the game. But it really kind of just draws you in. There's no English subtitles. You don't really know what the characters are talking about. And you have to have good voice actors to draw you in with that if you don't know what the storyline is saying. So it's really, really, really friggin' top-notch. The graphics are pretty simple, but at the same time, there are some beautiful, beautiful vistas. This is not going to be like, The Last of Us, where it's like pushing the hardware as hard as it can go. This is a very beautiful but simple game. And I did notice some screen tearing every now and then, but screen tearing is one of those things that you notice it for the first 3 times, and then afterwards it just kind of disappears. No real frame rate issues to speak of, but you're going to look at it and it's going to seem very, very Fable-esque in a lot of ways and kind of simple. But as the game goes on, you just kind of get wrapped up in the world that's presented, and it is a really awesome world. Man, I don't know what else to say other than if you have PlayStation Plus, get on there, download it for free. If you don't have PlayStation Plus, it's still worth your time picking up. Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. If I played this in time for my Game of the Year list, I don't really think it'd still win Game of the Year. But it would have been up there. It would have been easily in the top 10. I don't know where, because I'm not going to worry about that, but man, it's crazy how these indie developers are really just doing these really, really interesting things that the big developers are too busy. It's almost like blockbuster films versus indie films in a lot of ways. Like the indie films, for me, and my tastes, are just a lot more interesting than watching the next Michael Bay movie where the screen explodes for 2 hours. I really don't care to watch that shit. But give me a bunch of characters sitting around, just talking to each other all the time. I'll watch that, no problem. So, but anyway, guys, that's really it for this game discussion. I don't know what else to say. It's very easy to put this in the same breath as Journey and To the Moon. It's just that kind of experience that after you're done, you just kind of want to, give a well-played clap to those guys. Hopefully they stick around and are able to keep making games. But yeah, definitely check this one out. So that's all for me. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. I'll see you next time.